The Secret Friend. Once upon a time, there was a young boy named Sam. He loved reading adventure stories and had a big imagination. But little did he know, one special adventure was about to find him. One night, Sam was in his room reading a book, with only the dim light of his lamp and the soft hoots of an owl outside. Suddenly, he heard a faint whining sound from the front yard. It was barely noticeable, but Sam's curiosity got the best of him. He set down his book, slipped on his slippers, and tiptoed to the front door. He cracked open the door and peeked outside. Under the silvery glow of the moon, he could make out a small, shivering bundle of fur at the edge of the yard. Sam's heart skipped a beat as he realized it was a tiny puppy. Its coat was a mix of cream and light brown, and its eyes were big, round, and full of innocence. The puppy looked lost, cold, and unsure of where to go. "Oh my gosh," Sam whispered to himself. His heart melted, and without a second thought, he carefully stepped outside. "Hey, little guy," he said softly, trying not to scare it away. The puppy looked up at him with those deep, soulful eyes and wagged its tiny tail. It wasn't scared. In fact, it seemed relieved that someone had come out to greet it. "Are you lost?" Sam asked, though he knew the puppy couldn't answer. He noticed the poor creature was trembling, likely from both cold and hunger. Not wanting to scare it off, Sam slowly sat down on the ground, allowing the puppy to come closer if it wanted. And sure enough, after a few moments of hesitation, the puppy crawled over to him, nudging Sam's hand with its wet nose. Sam felt a surge of warmth and excitement. He knew his parents might not allow him to keep a pet, but he couldn't just leave the poor puppy outside. He carefully scooped it up, surprised by how light it was, and brought it inside. He tiptoed past his parents' room, holding his breath, hoping they wouldn't wake up. Once safely in the kitchen, he set the puppy down and opened the fridge. "What do puppies eat?" he whispered to himself, scratching his head. Then he remembered how he'd seen his mom give milk to a stray cat once. Milk. That should work. He carefully poured some into a small dish and placed it in front of the puppy. To his delight, the puppy eagerly lapped up the milk, its little tail wagging with each sip. Sam couldn't help but chuckle softly. "You must have been so hungry." After it finished the milk, the puppy looked up at him with grateful eyes, and Sam felt a bond forming right then and there. Over the next few days, Sam kept the puppy a secret. Each night, after his parents went to bed, he would sneak the puppy some food. He named it Shadow because it always seemed to be by his side, like his own little shadow. Sam couldn't wait to see Shadow every day. It became a little routine. He'd finish his homework, have dinner, and then count down the hours until he could sneak Shadow inside. Sometimes, he'd just sit with Shadow in the yard, petting his soft fur and whispering about his day. It felt good to have a friend who listened, even if it was just a little puppy. As the days passed, Shadow started growing more comfortable around Sam's house. It stopped shivering and even began following him around whenever it saw him outside. Shadow seemed to sense that Sam was a friend who could be trusted. And for Sam, Shadow became his secret joy. One evening, after a few weeks, Sam decided to tell his parents. He was nervous, but he couldn't hide Shadow forever. That night at dinner, Sam cleared his throat. "Mom, Dad, there's something I need to tell you." His mom looked up, curious. "Yes, honey." "Well," Sam hesitated, choosing his words carefully. I found a puppy a while ago. I've been taking care of him, and, well, he's really sweet. I was hoping, maybe, we could keep him." His dad raised an eyebrow. "You found a puppy, did you?" "Yeah, and he's really gentle. I've been feeding him, and he's very well behaved," Sam added quickly, afraid they might say no. After a moment of silence, his mom smiled. "Well, why don't you introduce us to your new friend?" Sam's face lit up with joy. He dashed outside, calling for Shadow, who came bounding over, tail wagging. He proudly brought Shadow inside to meet his parents. To Sam's relief, they instantly fell for Shadow's sweet, playful charm. From that day on, Shadow was officially part of the family. Sam was thrilled. He didn't have to hide his friend anymore, and Shadow could finally sleep inside, warm and safe. They became inseparable. Every morning, Shadow would follow Sam to the bus stop, and every afternoon, Shadow would be waiting, tail wagging, as Sam returned from school. Sam and Shadow spent hours exploring together. They'd run through the fields behind the house, Shadow chasing butterflies and Sam laughing at his friend's clumsy pounces. When it rained, they'd play in the mud until Sam's mom scolded him, though she couldn't stay mad long when she saw how happy her son was. One evening, as Sam lay in bed with Shadow curled up at his feet, he whispered, "You're my best friend. You know that?" Shadow gave a little yawn, then nestled closer, as if he understood every word. Sam drifted off to sleep, feeling a warmth in his heart that only a true friend could give. Years went by, and Sam grew older. He made new friends and started school, but Shadow remained his constant companion. They went through thick and thin together, and as Sam faced new challenges and adventures, Shadow was always there, cheering him on with a wag of his tail. One day, when Sam was in high school, he noticed Shadow starting to slow down. His once bouncy puppy was now a bit gray around the muzzle, and he spent more time resting than running. Sam knew that his loyal friend was getting older, but he cherished every moment they had together. One cool autumn night, much like the one when he first found Shadow, Sam sat beside his friend, scratching him gently behind the ears. "You found me on a night just like this," he whispered. "You've been my friend ever since." Shadow gazed at him with those same soulful eyes, filled with loyalty and love. Sam leaned close, wrapping his arms around his friend, feeling the warmth of their bond that had grown over the years. It was a friendship he knew he'd carry in his heart forever.